As of today, I can't tell you when the contract starts. Because of the government order, I'm not allowed to hire new people at the moment. This was the email I received from the firm where I was supposed to start working in April 2020 after I had finished my bachelor degree in January, just before the pandemic began. Well, one plan falls apart, and that creates space for another door to open. So happy you're here! I'm Anna, and this is the channel where art, aesthetics, and interiors merge into one, and where we live life to its fullest, which is exactly what we'll be talking about today. I started searching for a job during my senior year at college. I prepared a CV, a well-structured motivational letter, a list of my dream firms where I wanted to work, and eventually started sending my letters out. At the end of 2019, I received an invitation for a job interview at a design firm in Hamburg, Germany. 2 job interviews of 2 to 3 hours each later, I'd been invited to be a part of the team. That was at the beginning of February. A couple of weeks later, I noticed that my contract hadn't arrived yet. I tried reaching out to the director and I was met with cold promises. He never did call, and then I received that email. Just to give you the full picture, since I was sure that was the only place I wanted to work, I had rejected other job proposals. So I had no job, not much money, and my visa was about to expire. I'm not gonna lie, I was devastated. On top of everything else, the pandemic broke out. But despite all that, I still knew I wanted to do what I truly love. Thanks to my part-time job in a hotel, I was able to continue to support myself and have time to think about exactly what I wanted to do with my future. Combining interior sketching and interior design seemed the perfect decision for me, especially since I'd already been drawing for many years. You know, instead of rushing things, it's better to take a break and analyze what's exactly happening in life at the moment. Look, I started completely from scratch. We're talking about absolute 0 followers, no clients, cancelled job offer, and no idea what to do next. After a couple of weeks of depression, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and set my focus on creating interior sketches. During my studies, I had avoided computer-generated renderings because they show less atmosphere, and drawing by hand is faster, more personal, and unquestionably unique. Besides that, I wasn't really good at math and the construction part, so I tried to avoid it as much as I could. Before my And She Does Big account, I had a personal one, where I started to post everything I created without any particular purpose. Just to let you know, I had around 2,000 followers, most of which were either my family or my classmates. So I started telling everyone about what I'm doing and showing all the advantages of this brand new 3D approach. A couple of months later, I received my first 2 commissioned orders. The first one was for that hotel where I was working. They needed to redesign a breakfast room into a lounge zone and needed a quick design solution. The other one was designing a logo for a vacation resort in the north of Germany. They were followers on Instagram and asked me if I could create something for them. Working on those projects gave me so much joy and motivated me, so I decided to take the initiative and make cold calls and send emails. Every day was fully planned. Half of the day I was drawing and developing my portfolio, and the other half I was a salesperson for my own services. The interesting thing is that I've never questioned my choice. I knew everything would eventually work out. 2 months later, my hard work paid off. I was receiving new requests almost daily. I was creating those drawings for projects located in Zurich, Hamburg, Düsseldorf, Austria, some point, international orders from the United States and Canada started to come in. All of these projects were really high-end, unique and exclusive, so it was an enormous responsibility. At the end of August 2020, when I'd already been working on commercial projects for some time, I decided to create a new Instagram account strictly for my drawings. I didn't have any expectations or goals regarding that profile. I just wanted to share my work with the world. Back then, there were almost no big international interior illustrators. When I started filming those videos of the drawing process, I'd never seen anything like it. Then a friend of mine suggested that I share those drawing processes as reels. They exploded. Since I was the first one to popularize this medium, I rapidly gained audience every day by sharing my work and creating those reels. I started receiving hundreds of messages from people who wanted to know how to create this kind of drawing from scratch. That's how my first ebook on how to draw a floor plan from scratch was created. In total, thousands of copies were sold, and till now I keep receiving amazing sketches from my students. Seeing those results, I thought that there was more I could share with people than just a floor plan. I've packed my more than 10 years of experience drawing and working with clients in the luxury segment into the And She Draws Big Academy. The students' results exceed my expectations, which confirms that I made the right choice. No one told me that behind all this inspiring journey there is a dark side. Accounting. Also, no one told me that if you don't care about it every month, it will grow at an exponential rate. To make a long story short, keep on top of it from day one. Just believe me. After the initial excitement and success has become second-year business growth, it's crucial to find mentors who are more successful than you and buying sources on entrepreneurship. The following books have had a big influence on how I run my business. Remember that the more you grow and the longer you're in the market, the more obstacles you will face. In those moments, don't be afraid to ask for advice.
So we keep moving along. Driving down a Cabo in the sunburnt El Dorado.
When I had just enrolled in interior design school, I had no money to support myself as a student. It was one of those everything or nothing moments. So back then, I woke up very early, printed out my CV and cover letter, and knocked on every door, whether it was a clothing shop, restaurant, or a hotel. I had only 2 days to find a job, or I had to forget about my dream of studying interior design. Back then, I told myself that I'd do everything it takes to build a life where I don't have to beg for a job or live in a fear of not being able to pay my rent. That was my why. I just want to say the following. Don't wait for a perfect moment, a perfect working space, a perfect team, the most beautifully designed business card. It'll all come. Now all you have to do is start. Take the first step. If I had waited till I had the best tablet, the coolest design studio, the newest camera, the largest following, I'd never have drawn a single interior and shared anything. What has happened during those 2 years is incredible, and in hindsight, I wouldn't change a thing. Moreover, I'm now actually very glad that job was called off.
When you wake up in the evening, and I've left an empty space, will you remember how you're feeling? 'Cause I felt like that for days.
I hope my story inspired you to start your own business. Don't let your doubts and fears block your way to your amazing future. I'd love to hear your feedback, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you and see you in the next video.
Pieces